On the 9th Sunday of Christmas, my demo shared with me a little lidded milk carton. So normally the milk cartons, you have to kind of fiddle your way into the top. Remember back when you were in school and you just press it open and you try to pull it apart, and sometimes it'd come apart and sometimes it wouldn't? Well, this one's much easier. Just lift the top up and that gets you your treats inside. So let's see how to make this. It's really quite simple. To begin, we're going to take a piece of real red cardstock and cut it just under 7 inches by 7 inches. Not even really 6 15/16, but really just a little bit under that 7-inch mark, because we want the top to go over it, and so we want it just to be a little bit less, just a little bit smaller. So it's almost like 6 31/32, something like that. For our designer series paper, we want a piece that is 4 inches by 8.5 inches. This is non-directional paper, meaning it doesn't matter which way you hold it, it still looks nice, and still looks, right side up. 8.5 by 4. But if you had directional paper, for example, this piece right here from one of the Celebration patterns, this is directional paper because the trees are right side up when you're looking at it like this, but not this. If you're using directional paper, you want your directional paper to be right side up when it's landscape. So this pattern would not work in this configuration. I would have to have the trees going this way. So I would need a longer piece, thinner piece. Let me put my cutter aside. I'm going to bring out my Simply Scored tool, which is my preferred tool when I'm making boxes of any kind. I'm going to put my paper in the corner, and I'm going to score at 2 inches, at 2.5 inches on all 4 sides. So I'm not going to say 2.5 in here and then 2.5 from the other side. I'm just doing 4 sides. So 2.5, rotate, 2.5, and this just ensures that everything is the same on all 4 sides. Because remember, we're not starting with something that's a nice even number like 7 inches either. So there we go. We're going to set that aside for, actually, while I've got this out, let's go ahead and bring in my piece of designer series paper. On the long side, I'm going to score at 2 inches. Remember, it's paper, so you don't want to press as hard. 4 inches, 6 inches, and 8 inches. I'm going to rotate it. On the short side, I am going to score at 2 inches. And then I'm going to flip it over and score at 3.5 inches. And this little piece up here is that top of the milk carton. I can move my Simply Scored board out of the way now. I'm all done with it. Let's go ahead and bring in my real red cardstock again. And you can see that there are 4 big squares in the corners, a little square in the middle, and then we have 4 rectangles. I'm going to score, actually burnish on all of these score lines. Just helps your box to be nice and square and neat. Also allows you to see where you're cutting a little bit more. Now on these rectangles, I'm going to cut down the side of a rectangle, and then I'm going to wedge right next to it. And I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side of that outer edge. And then I need to cut across here, because if I don't, when I go to fold this in, you can see that it sticks over the score line. So I just need to cut some of this off. And it doesn't have to be pretty. Rotate it, and you're going to do the same thing. Okay, there, we've got that done. And we need to bring in our tear and tape. We're going to form the bottom of the box. Let's just put this on the, with the outside facing down, up. I'm going to put a piece of tear and tape along the edge of the piece that we had trimmed. And it's better, while you can do it on this other edge, the reason why we're doing it on this edge is because it is actually smaller. So we don't want to have any extra adhesive showing. Here we go. I just rub it down. Use my Take Your Pick tool, which allows me to pick up this very easily. Take Your Pick tool would make a really great stocking stuffer. If you want to put that on your Christmas wish list. We're just going to line this up now. So we put this tab to the inside. We line up the edges. And there we have the base of our box. Let's turn our attention to our designer series paper. We are going to burnish on the score lines. Most of them get burnished this way, so with the designer series paper on the outside. And then there's just a little bit of a on one end. Oh, we already did it. There we go. Now, for these two score lines, the one that's closest to the halfway point, you're going to fold over onto itself. You're going to find the other one, which is right here, and fold that back. This is actually what's going to be that little piece at the top. You can unfold right now. Find that little end tab right here. Take your tear and tape, which almost landed in my trash. It did land in my trash, but fortunately it's right next to me. I'm going to put that right along the edge here. There's no cutting at all on this particular piece. I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to lay this tab right here, flip this end over, and it all lines up nicely. And that's really all there is to it. Here's my little tab up at the top. If I slide this over, let's see here. Here we go. What you're going to do is pinch in on the sides a bit. Go ahead and pinch, and there you've got that milk carton piece right here. So you can see you've pinched in. The score lines here are helping this fold in nicely. Got that milk carton look. You've got just this little edge right down here. I'm going to go ahead and pull in a hole punch. A hole punch there. And a hole punch here. Okay. Let's bring in our seam binding ribbon and poke this through the hole with the end of the stylus. It's more than just for creating score lines, that's for sure. And we can tie a nice little bow. I didn't look ahead of time what length of ribbon this needed to be, so we're just gonna trial and error it. Let's try to make it a little bit neater. Just had my nails done today, so I think that's the problem. There we go. We'll fix the ends a little bit. There you go, a little too long. There we go. We'll trim the ends. And this will slide right over the top. And it's a little bit of a snug fit, which you want it to be. I probably could have made this a little bit closer to the 6 1/15 inch, but I really wanted it to stay shut. So on this one, on my first one that I had, this was 6 15/16. And so when I fit it over the top, it fits, but it's really pretty loose. So I wanted to go a little bit tighter on this one. And you can fill it with a bunch of Hershey's Kisses. And there we go. There we have a cute little treat box. And you can alter the dimensions of this a little bit, but this is a really nice size. It's a nice substantial treat. If I want to go ahead and make something for the front of it, we could go, let's see, let's do a Noel. I need a piece of white paper here. And let's get out our Real Red ink pad. Noel. And I think we need a circle punch. This is just an old circle punch that Stampin' Up! Used to carry. You could use a circle die, you could use a decorative punch, anything you wanted to. But look at how quick and simple this comes together. Go ahead and get just a couple of dimensionals for the back of this. And there we go. A quick and simple little treat box. Let me put it down so that you can see it on your angle, not standing up on my shelf. There we go. And that is the 9th day of Christmas.